Hey everybody, it's me, James John. A brand new episode of Crying in My Car is coming your way. First thing we're going to talk about is teachers going to teacher conventions. It's great. They get to learn something and they get to have fun with their fellow teachers. Then we're going to be talking about early retirement for teachers. Not in a good way, they actually get forced out. Then we're going to end things in the dark side of the internet. That's right, Reddit. We're going to be talking about some of the rude things that parents say to teachers. All that and more coming up right now.
Hey everybody, we are back Crying in My Car, podcast for teachers. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Devin, Siebold, James John right next to me. Don't forget to support the podcast. Patreon.com/crying in my car. We got a great community over there. Tons of supporters helping out, keeping this podcast alive, and bonus content over there. Crying in My Garage, where James and I sit in the garage and we lament. But also, it's a lot of bonus discussion, a lot of great humor, and those are posted every other week. So you have this podcast, and then the next week you have the bonus podcast, and then you have this podcast the other week. So again, thank you so much for tuning in, and don't forget to check me out, by the way, on the Board Teachers Comedy Tour. I'm going to read off some of these dates. If you haven't been to a Board Teachers Comedy Tour, now's the time. It is extremely funny. It is honestly a party for teachers. We have a great time there. I just want to read some of these U.S. dates off. We got New Brunswick, New Jersey, Springfield, Mass., Poughkeepsie, New York, and Tarrytown, New York. That's October 2nd through 5th. And then towards the end of the year, we added some pretty great shows. Cincinnati, Ohio, Toledo, Ohio, Midland, Michigan, and Lansing, Michigan. That's December 4th through 7th. And then the New York Patchogue. I don't know how you say that. December 11th and 12th. We got two shows there, 2 days there. And then December 13th and 14th in Albany and Wilkes-Barre. Those were just added. Tickets are on sale. Boardteachers.com. So thank you guys again for coming out to the shows. And I want to give one special shout out before we begin to Derek in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. Said he was a big fan, listens to all the podcasts. So if you come up to me after the show, say you're a big fan, tell me your name, I'll jot it down. We'll give you a shout out on the podcast just for coming by. So now, James.
Yes, sir.
It's that time of year. A lot of teachers are hitting the road.
Okay.
Yeah, not for vacations, though. Conventions. I actually am headlining a bunch of conventions. I'm doing Educate Kansas. I've got an amazing convention up in Virginia that I'm actually spending the whole weekend there. I'm going to be there the December 6th, 7th, and 8th.
Nice.
That one I'm looking forward to is VTSE. And then I think I said that right, or VSTE. I gotta look it up. But anyways, there's always acronyms. Mm-hmm. And then I've got I just did the Department of Education for Idaho, Department of Education. I'm going back there. I had such a good time there when we did that show in Sun Valley that I had 3 neighboring districts ask me to come and speak.
Come on. Yeah, nice.
So I'm really looking forward to that.
Nice.
The conventions, I'll be honest with you, when I was a teacher, I didn't go to any conventions. And the reason I didn't go to conventions is because I taught in a very poor district. We did not have the money to send people to conventions. Mm-hmm. We had our own professional development center where they would bring in speakers and people to run these PD courses, and you had to go to those. And you would be it was so fortunate if it was paid. Mm. But most of the time it wasn't paid at your standard contract time. It was $10 an hour.
Okay.
So you go for a day, 8 hours, and make $80. And a lot of teachers hopped on it, especially to continue their professional development. You got to get the continuing credits to keep your certification.
Makes sense.
I love the conventions, though. I've started performing at them, and when I perform at them, I get to check them out. And I just always thought of a convention as being a place of just like, these ballrooms where you sit down and you listen to some speaker and
PowerPoint.
It's just a reason to get out. You get to go to a different city. Yeah. Maybe that's neat. But, man, it's different. I noticed a few things. First off, I noticed that, yes, they get to get out. Mm-hmm. They get to get out with other teachers, and they have a good time.
They do.
They have a lot of partying afterwards, a lot of great meals, camaraderie, a lot of discussion. But also, I see teachers leave these conventions with like an ignited passion that I wish I had while I was teaching. Because sometimes you get burned out. It is really cool to go to these
I can see
conventions,
that.
select what you want to hear,
Mm-hmm.
and then you go to that and you get a different perspective from somebody who's an expert in their field. And I just see teachers leaving the conventions going, I feel like empowered. I feel reinvigorated. And it's all the
Agreed.
conventions. I'm not going to
Agreed.
single out any convention,
Mhm.
but man, they do like really good things. So, some teachers I know out there maybe have never gone to a convention. See if there's grant money for it. I know that's the laughable
yeah.
part. See if there's grant money first. See if your school will pay for it. Because I've seen teachers where they're like, I didn't think my school would pay for it. And then I asked them and they did. And they do cover it.
I've seen both. I've been lucky enough to do shows with you. And I will say the fact that the teachers are watching someone at the show, entertainment show, that gets what they go through. That look in their face of, that's right. I go through that every day. Yeah. I like when they light up and I get to see that. But also there's another way that they could approach it. If their school can't afford to send them away, I've seen people go to their schools and say, hey, can we have Devin come to our school?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's way you can actually ask. Yeah, hey, bring a teacher or a speaker to your school, which may be more cost effective, and they might do that for you.
Yeah, I agree. Yep, you bring me to your school or go to a convention.
Go to a convention.
Yeah,
yes,
that
yes.
convention though, I will
Yeah.
say, is a little bit more. You get the hotels,
You
get to-
you're away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now the only downside is I know a lot of teachers are like, I got to come to the convention. I love the convention, but they paired me with somebody else. So then you're in a hotel
roommate.
room
Yeah.
with a roommate, and it's like, But hopefully you get along. Hopefully you know them. That's kind of be weird to be paired with a stranger. But the other cool thing about the conventions that I'll say is I go on the floor and I look at all these companies
Mhm.
that are like creating new things for education.
Okay.
And dude, it's amazing what's out there.
Yeah.
I almost get more from the convention hall floors than I do from seeing the speakers, because I can go through the convention hall floors and I go, that'll work with my students.
Mhm.
That's a new technology. I've never seen that. My kids' mind would be blown, and really get introduced to a lot of cool stuff. Plus freebies. Yeah.
Swag.
Yeah, bring a bag
Bag.
and just load it up. You'll get like 400 Apple stress balls. You'll
Mhm.
get cool pens all over, and things like that. I've grown to really, when I see a contract come through and they're like, we want you to speak, and it's a convention, I'm like, yeah, I'm there. Like I'm excited about it, and I'll actually go in a day early just so I can get the credentials. The one that I did in Edmonton was absolutely amazing. Getka.
Mhm.
I went there a day early and I walked all through Getka and saw it. They had a different mentality. I don't know if I talked about it on this, but I thought it was pretty cool. So I wish U.S. schools would do this. In the U.S. in Florida, if I want to continue to have my certification,
Yeah.
I have to do X number of professional development hours
Mhm.
as furthering your education. It's the same as like doctors to renew their certifications.
Mhm.
We have to do that as well. If only we got paid like doctors. But it's ridiculous. You have to do it on your own money, on your own dime, on your own time
Of course.
to continue your education, to keep your certification. But in Edmonton, what they did is they have this Getka. It's a massive convention.
Okay.
Every single teacher has to pay to attend.
Pay.
Mandatory. You pay
Okay.
to attend. And you think to yourself, what? They're forcing you to attend this convention? That convention, those 3 days you're there, are your only professional development requirement to continue your certification.
You're knocking out two birds with one
You
stone.
literally are going to
Okay.
this fun convention.
Okay.
You spend time there with your friends. It
Mhm.
might even live in the area. You can just drive to it. You don't even have to, be in the hotel.
Yeah.
You get to see amazing, cool speakers, great entertainment. They put it on really well. And then guess what? You're done. You don't have to worry about continuing to find speakers or education or take night classes or whatever. There's a rush. I mean, because in Florida they give you 5 year. That 5th year, when you get that email saying your certification is coming up for renewal and you still have 60 credits that you need to do,
Mhm.
it's like oh my
A
gosh,
mad
what do I
dash.
do?
Yeah.
And some of it, sometimes it's easy. You just watch a few videos online, answer a few questions. Those are the easy ones. Sometimes they're like, you have a night class that you go to from 8 to 9 p.m.,
Mm.
half an hour away,
Mhm.
and you got to go there for for 8 weeks, and it's taking up so much time. But that convention, all in one, knock it out, done. I love that.
And it sounds fun. It takes the sting out of it. Like, oh, this is not bad. I'm hanging out with my friends, my fellow teachers, and I get to see some entertainment.
And I met some amazing speakers there too.
I bet you did.
They did some really good vetting. Sometimes it's just like, what do you do? Okay, you'll fill this box. We're checking off that. This one, I didn't feel that way. I felt that they were looking for like genuinely good people, good speakers who would bring something to the table, not just check off a box.
That's nice, man.
Yeah, and they had a lot of interesting topics too. Like it's always wild seeing. It's also wild seeing what Canada cares about. Because like here in America,
like they're just so foreign.
Yeah,
like,
here in America, like it's a weird thing, but like we do like education this and this education. Yeah. You go up there and it's like they have entire seminars on respecting indigenous cultures and like learning about the people that came before you with the land, and they have a very real respect of the people that lived on the land prior to them.
There's a reverence they show them.
And it's prevalent throughout the conference. Like they obviously, I've been to a lot of sporting events and stuff in Canada, and they always acknowledge the people that came before them, the indigenous people, and they give them a respect prior to the national anthem. So it's like we acknowledge this. But they also do it in the conventions, and they do it constantly throughout.
It's a constant thing.
Yeah, it's always being reminded of who came before you and paying a respect to them. Anyways, that's my love of conventions. Hopefully I'll see you at one. I've got a lot coming up. I did promos for them. If you see my face, I'll be there.
Nice.
Now, let's see what we got. Teachers in the news. In York, Maine, a single high school had some attendance issues with students not being there and withdrawing. A lot of these schools are downsizing. Here's an interesting thing. I'm going to preface this before I read this. I was shocked on NPR. I was listening to NPR, and there was a report on population growth. And it's like, no, we are in crisis mode. Like, we are significantly underperforming in births. And like it's dropping, and that's what you're seeing in a lot of schools. Believe it or not, I mean, even my son's school, they're dropping teachers because there's lower enrollment.
Yes,
it's just not children.
I don't know about you, but I've talked to my kids and I've talked to their friends, and they will openly tell you, this is the first generation I've seen where they're like, no, we don't want children.
They do not want children.
I do not want to have kids.
Yeah, and it's like crisis mode. So in York, Maine, they have a little bit of a problem. High school didn't have the enrollment that they expected, and so the district offered them $20,000 early retirement buyout to these teachers. And a few of them took it, but guess what? The ones that didn't, they went ahead and just fired them anyways.
Oh, no!
I don't know if that's the way I would have went, but they laid 2 teachers off that didn't accept the buyout.
And it wasn't retroactive.
Yeah, and the reason they were like, I'm not accepting the buyout is because they needed the full health insurance that was being provided.
Yes.
And the school was about to give a 5.5% raise, or did give it, and that's why they needed the buyouts to get them off the,
Yes.
I think we're going to start to see the aging teachers being forced out. They're going to offer them buyouts, but unfortunately, this is not a offer. It's an offer you can't refuse.
There you go.
And I hope that that's not the case. But a lot of these retirement teachers, especially, it's a double-edged sword when you give massive pay increases across the board. Yes, great. But also those top-tier teachers in their 30, 25 years range, they're making a lot of money, and they are like, we could pay 2 new teachers for the price of you.
So you put a target on their back.
Yeah, unfortunately. If they can't fire you, if it's not in the contract that they can let you go, they'll find a way to make your life heck, Yeah. Yeah.
They will make that money up somewhere.
Right. A mother in D.C. is outraged. This one is a weird story, and I don't know where to side with it on. I don't think there is a winner here. But a mother in D.C. is outraged. Her son was a special education student, special needs, and had to transfer out of the school because of fear of the teacher. Now, this is not an intimidation fear. This is not fear of like physical violence or anything.
Okay.
The teacher was recording the class and recording the student, recording voice, all the time recording voice, and occasionally recording video. And the parent said, please stop recording my son. Even the principal said, can you please stop recording in the room? And the teacher declined. So they actually kept the teacher and moved the student. They got a fear of safety transfer. And the mom's like, my student is the victim. He should have never been asked to move schools. But the teacher had a very interesting, and this is maybe this day and age they had an interesting reasoning. The teacher said, I'm recording every class for my periods for self-reflection, to prepare for my evaluations, and most importantly, as a safety precaution.
For herself.
I don't want somebody saying I said something that I didn't say.
Ooh, wait a minute.
So we've reached an interesting impasse where teachers are trying to protect themselves, and the students are going, I don't want to be recorded, and the parents are going, I don't want to be recorded, and they're going, well, look. So they did not fire the teacher. They kept the teacher. But the teacher has agreed to finally stop recording, but the student is still moving anyways out of fear of retaliation, I'm sure. But
now, when you first started telling this story, I'm like, there is no good reason a teacher should be recording a student. And then you told me the reason. I'm like, that's a pretty good reason.
yeah, I mean, it's a weird thing, but when we first came out that cameras might be used in the classroom, I was against it. However, when I started talking to teachers, they were like, please record what your child is doing.
I agree.
Please let them live stream and see how your children are acting and the things I'm going through. And there's a lot of he said, she said in these, this person said this and this person said that.
Yes.
And this teacher finally said, you know what? I'm not going to risk it. All right, we're beginning class. I'm recording.
As a parent, I'm going to say this. I agree. If the woman has nothing to hide and the students aren't, their information is not being given out to anybody, why not be able to record just to be like, look, I can show you what happened. I kind of like that.
Yeah, I kind of do
I kind of like that.
But I also understand that the school said stop, and she was like, no. Well,
it's a gray area because I'm just trying to protect me too.
Yeah, I mean, you're trying to protect yourself. And plus, I do think there's an element of you're protecting the other students too. If you have a particular student that's capable of outbursts or hurting other students, you want to have documentation of that. To say, look, I've warned you several times that this kid's acting this way. Here's the audio of how this is going down. I mean, I don't know.
As a teacher, this is just on a tangent, but I think this is a good question. Hearing that, let's say you could record back in the day when you were a teacher, how many parents do you think would be shocked, surprised to see their child's actual behavior?
So many.
I think so.
Yeah, I early on, I had one parent, when I taught younger kids, I had one parent come in to sit in the back of the classroom and monitor their kid. Of course, the kid was an angel that day.
Yeah.
But it was more of a, I will come in if I need to, and mentality. And that was kind of good, but also now I'm letting a parent watch me teach, is kind of like an extra body in the classroom. We already don't have enough desks. But so I do understand the mother's point of view, though. You have a special needs student and you're asking, please don't record him. Your wish should be fulfilled, but also maybe a little dialogue and say, look, I get you're trying to protect, maybe record in only these instances, maybe audio only, no video, things like that. Maybe. Maybe there's a negotiation that could have been had without having to move the child. A Tennessee school senior was suspended for the rest of the year, not allowed to attend graduation, and their diploma was withheld for a month. That sounds so bad. What terrible thing did they do? Well, the Christian school said it's because they came out as gay.
Oh!
And that is against what the Christian school teaches, and they are withholding their diploma and not allowing them to attend graduation. The student is suing to be allowed to take her final exams, get her diploma, prevent the school from bashing her to colleges, which they threatened to do. Apparently, the school threatened retaliation against her to future colleges. Maybe she was applying to religious institutions.
I was going to say.
Yeah, I mean.
Because something in there sounds illegal.
Yeah.
There. I'm not a lawyer, but something sounds, a little wrong.
So anyways, the school is in the hot seat. What's going to happen? It's in Tennessee. Bible Belt, I don't know. You're not looking at a lot of support probably from outside initiatives, especially in this day and age. It's unfortunate, but private schools have, and this is the thing, a lot of people forget when we are arguing money. pull the money from the public, give it to the private. Well, are we pulling it from the public and allowing the private to discriminate against the students that are there if they come out as gay or who they are? I just
because
it's a crazy world we live in.
You give up some freedoms when you go to these institutions that can make up their own rules.
Yeah,
about your social life.
I went to a private school, and my hair and my facial hair, clean shaven hair, could not be below. If right now, if my hair was, since it's touching my ear, nope, I wouldn't be allowed in school.
Gotcha.
There was a lot of strict requirements on, and not only that, but we didn't have social media. These kids have social media. That was on social media where they came out, and apparently the school was monitoring it, or somebody submitted it to the school, and It's a difficult thing too, because the parent's paying for the education. Do you give them a refund? Do you say, hey, look, I paid for my child to take the tests and get a diploma, and for the education, I did not pay for them to be discriminated against.
No.
So I don't know. It's going to be an interesting lawsuit. We'll see how it goes. This day and age in the court system.
Hey, you never know.
It's an unfortunate situation.
Know.
All right. Before we get into my last thing, James, you had something for us?
I definitely do. Now, I know that when you were a teacher, you had to meet with many a parent, Devin.
Yes.
And sometimes it went well. You laughed. I like that. You remember that one time, right? That one time?
I'm going to take the Bill Clinton angle. Depends on what your definition of well is.
Well, one that didn't end in violence. Well,
it went well.
Well,
ish.
Well, and sometimes when you would meet with parents, it would end with them blatantly cursing you out and saying rude things to you.
I had those.
Yes. So keeping with that theme, I've collected some very interesting rude things that parents have said to teachers.
Rude things
yes.
parents have said to teachers.
Yes. And it's going to be borderline crazy as well.
Yeah. Are we able to put this on YouTube?
I took out all... Well, no.
Okay.
Well, here's one you might have heard before. It has to do with homework.
Okay.
And this parent said to the teacher, "Why aren't you just doing my son's homework for him? He shouldn't bring anything home to work on. You should complete it for him at school. He needs free time in the evenings, to unwind and play video games."
Of course. That precious child.
Child of yours. It's funny to me because the answer to that question's in the word you use. Homework.
Yes.
The work you do at home.
Yep. And I'm an advocate for homework. I am an advocate. I do think it has a place.
We've had this talk. Mm-hmm. As long as you don't, I believe in homework as a parent when my kids were in school, of course, not just like 2 days worth for one night.
Yep.
That's mine. Yeah. Happy median. Yeah. In there. All right. A parent was angry that I'd taken a photo of her son to glue to his portfolio for easy identification. At our meeting with the principal, the parent said to me, "I want to rip your arms off and beat you to death with them." The student was moved to another teacher as well as a new home once DCF was called.
Oh, my gosh.
What do you say to that parent?
You know what's funny is from a comedic perspective,
yes,
I'm seeing the new teacher with the student come in and go, "Oh, I thought you already went here." Well, yeah, so my mom said something, yeah. And you're like, "Oh, that's why you're
here."
Both arms? And beat them. I'd be concerned as the next teacher.
Yes.
I'd be like, yeah.
Yes.
That's,
yes.
That's a threat. Obviously, might be a little bit of law enforcement. Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. You know what I mean? Just anger management.
Yeah.
A lot of things at play here,
sure.
Man. That's funny. Here's a good one, Devin. The mother of a 7th grade student told me she didn't like me because I looked like her ex-husband's new wife, and her daughter doesn't need another mother. I'm going to argue and say she might. She might.
You look like the ex-husband's new wife. I don't... So...
Yeah, where do you go with that? Huh.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, the fact you think I'm going to be her new mother is weird.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm a teacher, not her mama. What do you say to crazy? A parent, I will deal with my son's disrespect when he gets home. But first, let me talk to you about your disrespect. You gave my child an ultimatum. You told my son that in order to pass your class, he has to complete work. How dare you? What?
There are
What?
some parents that think that it's more than just completing the work, which that is true. Learning is more than completing the work, but completing the work is part of the learning process.
Yes.
And I mean, there are
How
there are people that push
dare
back
you?
on that stuff.
Completing your work?
Yep.
Am I supposed to be like, no, it's fine?
Yeah,
It's okay.
You know what? Just the name on it. That's fine.
Thank you. Can we do that at our jobs? No.
No. And thank you, James, for actually pointing that out, because I often point that out to parents, is that I go, this doesn't work in the real world.
It does not.
You're setting these expectations that don't translate to a job.
No.
They don't translate to life.
No.
So, yeah.
You definitely can't do that. So that's the ones I wanted to read to you because I just thought they were interesting. The parents are like, no, this is how I feel.
Yeah.
And you should fix this.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's society in general.
Yeah.
All right. Back to Reddit.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I decided to dive even deeper.
The dark
Reddit.
side of the internet.
Yeah. This one, though, is an interesting observation, and I would love to know your opinion on this, if you think it's true or not.
Okay.
They're talking about social media and cell phones. Somebody had an interesting observation that said that there's a lot of students that are not using cell phones in the class. And there are a lot of students that are actively using cell phones in the class. And a teacher noted, and it was confirmed all through the comments in Reddit, that this is something that everybody has seen. And I remember seeing it now as I reflected too, that poor students, there's almost 100% rate that have smartphones and actively use them. Wealthy background students, it's 50-50. And they said that students from upper middle class families just didn't often emphasize cell phones. They didn't have the use for them. A lot of times they weren't allowed to have them. One teacher said, I have students entering middle school that aren't allowed any technology use per the parent, and she teaches at an upper level school. One said she teaches at a Montessori, and those kids have incredible focus, and parents absolutely are anti-cell phones at the Montessori school. They're so exceptionally pleasant to be around, and everyone is screenless, and it's not a requirement.
They just choose not to.
Yeah, that it's a wealth thing, that you have the wealthy are like, look, there's more outside of the cell phone. Let's find some real world success, not success on social media, not success on your phone.
As I'm listening, this makes sense. There's a reason that rich kids don't use a cell phone as much as poor kids. Poor kids use cell phones to stay connected to their friends that may not live where they live, in another state. Rich kids don't need to be connected to their friends in other states. They can just take their private jet to visit them.
That's true.
So that knocks that right out.
And plus, they don't need to even update the status. They just go, Butler, tell people I'm unpleasant.
I am angry. Let them know.
Yep. But yes, honestly, I just thought it was an interesting observation. And I started to think of it too. And I was like, man, when I taught in a very low income area, it was a lot of cell phone use. When I moved to a different school where it was mixed, I went to a school of the arts. There were some came from low income areas as a magnet school. Some came from higher income areas where it was a parent looking to get their kids into a better college. And the cell phone use was different among the two.
I never stopped and thought about that, but I think you're right. That's interesting.
It is interesting, especially when you start to look at like wealthy families now too. You ever seen Warren Buffett on a cell phone? Updating his status.
No.
Things like that. I don't know. I just think about it. It's interesting. It's an interesting observation. I just thought I'd bring it up. All right, the next one. Was in a meeting with a parent who was complaining about my assignments, even though the assignment had directions, rubrics, examples, and I model expectations in class in addition to explaining the assignment. I suspected that mom might be doing her kids' work pretty much all year long. So mom was challenging me on the requirements, and I was pushing back during a meeting because everything is reasonable. If you're a student in class, you've been paying attention, you should know. Mom says, so what exactly is the set design, she teaches theater, supposed to look like? And I reply, well, it can look like whatever it needs to look like as long as it works for the play. And she says out loud, well, how am I supposed to know how I do that? And apparently the teacher calmly says, you're not, but your child is. And admin took over from there because mom clearly outed herself as
Yeah.
doing all the work. So I thought,
So the mom and the general contractor left.
yeah, yeah,
We're done.
we're done here.
That's funny.
But yeah, I mean, sometimes I've seen where students come in and they have work, and you're like, which parent? This is not you.
Yeah.
Which parent did this?
Yeah.
I had my mom do one assignment pretty heavily. Because it was a science project, and I was one of those kids that was like at 9 p.m. going, hey, by the way, I have a science project due tomorrow.
Oh my God.
And she, what?
I remember those days.
Yeah, and then it was, let's get felt, let's get this, let's put together the board, let's type this up. We had a typewriter. Ding, 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 ding,
Oh,
ding, ding,
wow.
ding, ding. Yeah.
Now, I will say this. When my kids would have projects, what I would do for them heavy was I do art. I'm pretty good at art. So they would do all the research. They would type all the reports up that would be put on the board. I would do the art part.
Right.
I would do that. But they did all the actual academic work. That's how far I went. Yeah, I didn't.
Is that why none of your children are in the arts?
That's correct.
And you are?
I am. In fact, my son is a graphic artist, and I do all that work too.
Right. All right, the last one. This is an interesting one. And I don't know how I would confront this, but there was a teacher who was on a date. And they got to talking about Oblivion Remastered, which I've been playing.
It's a game, yeah.
Yep. And I said, and apparently this teacher said I was waiting for summer vacation so that I could binge it for a week straight.
Ooh.
Yeah, they were like, can't wait. I want to play that game. Soon as summer hits, I'm going to spend a week playing this game.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy's response was, oh, wow, a whole 3 months paid vacation where you get to do nothing. Teachers are so lazy, I swear.
Ooh. Can I guess that she threw hands?
There was not a second date.
Okay, yeah.
Actually, this is the same mom that ripped both the arms
It's
off
off.
and started beating him with it. Yeah, and this teacher says, look, never mind the fact that it's not paid, which people don't understand.
They don't get it.
It's not 3 months long, and we're underpaid over the other 30 million things that we have to do.
Facts.
It says apparently we're just lazy, teachers. We're just lazy. That's all it is. It's one of those where you just
Teachers
pull your
are
hair
lazy,
out.
but that guy is lonely.
That is true.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. That doesn't sound like a second date. Also, Oblivion Remastered. Hey, that's the game.
That's a great.
Have you played it?
I've not.
Did you play Oblivion in the beginning?
I'm not. It's a first-person shooter, right?
No,
It's not.
It's a role play.
Gotcha.
But it's
That is your jam, by the way, right?
Yeah. I love it. My son's into it now.
Oh, you did it.
Oh, we sat down. I didn't. So this is the thing, and I told you this before.
Mm-hmm.
No, maybe I didn't tell you. I'm having trouble with my sons playing video games because they love to play the stuff that has instant gratification.
Okay.
I will play something with them where I go, you have to figure this out. You have to find this. This is a quest. And they go, well, how do we finish it? And I go, that's the part you have to find out. You have to find the tools you need, and you have to build the spells, and you have to sometimes mix the ingredients and see what works and what doesn't, and develop the new potions and enchant your swords. And they're like, we can't just go find it and go kill them. And I'm like, no, it takes time.
Yes.
And so they wouldn't do it. They would not play. Like, I tried to get them into like maybe Fallout or something. Nope. As soon as I was like, it's slow paced. You have to explore. Open up the crates. Open up the file cabinet. No. So I finally sat down with my kids and I said, watch me. I'm going to play. Maybe this is selfish on my part, but I said, I'm going to play Oblivion for just half an hour to an hour each night. It just came out. I loved this game.
Yes.
I want you to love it too.
Yes.
I know you're not going to love it playing at your pace. You're not going to understand it. So let's play together. So I talk to them the entire time I'm playing.
Okay.
I go, okay, that looks like a scamp up there, and we need to shoot them with the arrow, but I can see that they're a little bit bigger than the other ones. So I'm going to put some poison on this arrow, and I'm going to shoot it, and then it defeats him. And I'm like, okay, if we had not done with the poison, we would have still been battling him, and it probably would have drained a lot of our health and energy and arrows. And so I'm like, okay, so then we find this spell. This spell works on ghosts, so we're going to hold that spell, but this spell we can use in this instance. Skeletons hate fire. Let's use skeletons. And now I'm going through. Now, guess what? I talked for the first week of playing it. Now my kids talk to me.
Look at that.
Now they talk to me, telling me, they're like, that's a skeleton. You got to throw the fire at the skeleton. The skeletons hate the fire. Hey, you missed that. There was a chest over there. You got to go unlock the chest. And I'm like, perfect. You're seeing the game how I'm supposed to see. I'm literally like, you ever see Hook where like all of a sudden all the food's in front of him?
Yes.
And you're like, you're seeing it, Peter. It is you. And I feel that way. I'm like, I got him. And so I taught my kids patience.
You actually
go ahead.
did what you were called to do. You were teaching them.
Yes.
You taught your
led by
kids
example, yeah.
critical thinking and problem solving.
Yep.
You did that.
Yeah, but that's the thing is these games taught that to me, but I had the patience. This generation does not have patience.
No, they do not.
They're instant gratification. And so I'm just trying to tap the brakes.
So if you could break that cycle with them, that means there is hope.
There is hope.
There is hope.
Yep.
There definitely is hope, man.
Yeah, but now they love it, and they look forward to seeing me play. I haven't told them yet, but once I reach like a specific level, I'm going to go, now I'll watch you.
That's
and
great.
So, and then the second they get killed, I'm like, give it back.
You can't be trusted.
You lost all my armor. No. But no.
This is going to take me weeks.
So, anyways, James, how can people find you, my friend?
As always, you guys can find me on Instagram and Facebook. Same account, James Yon Comedian. That's YON.
And Devin Comedy is pretty much everything online. Devin Siebold, you can find me there. Don't forget, Teachers Need Laughter for all your speaking needs. I will come to your school, come to your convention, and we'll have an amazing time. Literally 100% 5-star reviews across the board. If you need references, just message me. Anyways, thank you guys so much for supporting the podcast. Patreon.com/cryinginmycar for the bonus episodes. And we'll be back next week with a brand new episode on the Patreon, and the week after with a brand new episode on YouTube. Thank you so much.